Kevin Costner stands as one of the most enduring figures in American cinema, not because his journey was smooth, but because it was anything but. His career has been marked by soaring triumphs, painful setbacks, public scrutiny, and private reinvention. On screen, he became a symbol of integrity and quiet strength. Whether protecting a pop icon in The Bodyguard, chasing belief in Field of Dreams, or reshaping the Western with Dances with Wolves. Off-screen, his life unfolded with equal complexity. Marriages faltered, criticism cut deep, and success demanded sacrifices few could see. Now in his 70s, Costner represents something rarer than stardom: resilience. His story is not about perfection or constant victory. It is about endurance, the decision to keep moving forward despite disappointment, loss, and doubt. In an industry obsessed with youth and relevance, Costner's life reminds us that persistence can outshine applause, and that courage often appears in the simple act of continuing. Childhood shaped by loss and quiet strength, born on January 18, 1955, in Lynwood, California, Kevin Costner entered a working-class household shaped by responsibility and unspoken grief. His father labored long hours repairing power lines, while his mother worked as a social worker, offering compassion to struggling families before returning home to her own. 2 years before Kevin's birth, his parents lost a newborn son, a tragedy that lingered silently within the family. Though rarely discussed, that loss created an emotional undercurrent that Kevin sensed from a young age. Love was present, but guarded. Stability existed, but felt fragile. The family moved frequently across California, following employment opportunities and financial necessity. Each relocation meant starting over: new schools, new classmates, new attempts to belong. Kevin grew quiet and observant, learning to adapt without complaint. In church choir, he briefly found recognition and confidence. These early experiences instilled in him resilience, emotional awareness, and the ability to endure uncertainty, qualities that would later define both his personal and professional life. Choosing risk over security. After college, Costner followed what seemed the responsible path. With a degree in marketing and finance, he secured steady employment and married his college sweetheart, Cindy Silva. Outwardly, his life appeared stable and promising, yet internally, he felt disconnected from his true ambition. A chance encounter with actor Richard Burton during a flight became a pivotal moment. When Costner confessed his dream of acting, Burton encouraged him to pursue it wholeheartedly. That brief exchange ignited the courage he had been suppressing. Leaving behind a secure job and predictable future, he stepped into the uncertainty of Hollywood. The decision was not romantic, it was terrifying. Financial insecurity loomed and failure seemed likely. Still, Costner chose risk over comfort. That leap marked the first major act of endurance in his adult life. It demonstrated a truth he would live by repeatedly. Growth requires discomfort, and fulfillment often demands abandoning safety for possibility. Years of rejection and invisible struggle. Hollywood did not welcome Costner with immediate opportunity. Instead, it tested his resolve. He worked odd jobs, cleaning boats, driving trucks, and leading tours of celebrity homes while auditioning relentlessly. Rejection became routine. Casting directors dismissed him without explanation. Early roles provided little stability, and in a particularly painful setback, his scenes were cut entirely from The Big Chill before its release. Watching the finished film, knowing his performance had vanished, reinforced how invisible he remained. Money was scarce, and doubt persistent. Yet quitting never became an option. Costner relied not on confidence, but on endurance. He walked long distances to save money and accepted that progress might be slow. These years forged his discipline and humility. Unlike overnight sensations, he understood the value of patience. The industry had not yet recognized his presence, but the quiet resilience forming during those difficult years would later anchor him when fame and criticism arrived in equal measure. Breakthrough and rising recognition. In 1985, Costner's perseverance began to bear fruit when he appeared in Silverado. The role showcased his calm intensity and natural screen presence, earning him attention from filmmakers and audiences alike. Momentum built further with The Untouchables, where his restrained performance opposite major stars confirmed his legitimacy. Unlike flamboyant leading men, Costner projected steadiness and sincerity. He felt relatable, grounded rather than glamorous. Hollywood began to view him as a dependable leading actor capable of carrying complex narratives. Yet recognition introduced new pressure. No longer invisible, he faced expectations. Success can be as destabilizing as failure, demanding consistency and resilience under scrutiny. For Costner, the challenge shifted from surviving obscurity to sustaining relevance. He embraced the responsibility cautiously, aware of how quickly opportunity could vanish. The years of struggle had prepared him well. He understood that momentum must be protected through focused humility and disciplined choice. Becoming a cultural symbol of hope. The late 1980s solidified Costner's position as a cultural figure. In Bull Durham, he blended charisma with vulnerability, connecting deeply with audiences. Soon after, Field of Dreams elevated him further. The film's iconic line, "If you build it, he will come," resonated as a metaphor for faith and redemption. Costner's portrayal embodied quiet belief, a man willing to risk ridicule for hope. Audiences saw in him something reassuring, integrity without arrogance. He became associated with stories about perseverance, family, and second chances. Yet his ambitions stretched beyond acting. He yearned to shape narratives, not merely inhabit them. The desire to direct reflected his growing confidence and willingness to gamble on his instincts. As his fame expanded, so did his determination to tell meaningful stories. He was no longer content to follow Hollywood trends. He wanted to challenge them. Redefining the Western with Dances with Wolves. In 1990, Costner took an extraordinary risk by directing and starring in Dances with Wolves. Many studios doubted the project's viability. A lengthy Western incorporating the Lakota language seemed commercially impractical. Financial pressures mounted, and failure threatened to derail his career entirely. Costner invested not only capital, but reputation, standing firmly behind his vision. When the film premiered, it exceeded expectations both critically and commercially. Winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, it reshaped perceptions of the Western genre. The film's respectful portrayal of Native American culture challenged industry norms and expanded storytelling boundaries. For Costner, the triumph validated years of persistence and belief in authenticity. Yet, monumental success brought intensified scrutiny. The industry now expected brilliance repeatedly. He had reached a summit few achieve, but the higher the peak, the steeper the fall if momentum faltered. Public criticism and professional setbacks. The mid-1990s introduced a harsher chapter. Waterworld became synonymous with production excess, despite the physical risks and dedication involved. Media narratives focused on budget overruns rather than creative ambition. Later, The Postman faced sharp criticism, compounding the perception of decline. Hollywood's tone shifted quickly from admiration to skepticism. Offers slowed, and Costner confronted an unfamiliar silence. Public punishment can feel heavier than private doubt. Headlines amplified every misstep. Yet he did not retreat permanently. Instead, he recalibrated. With Open Range, he returned to a quieter, character-driven style that reminded audiences of his strengths. The film restored critical respect and reaffirmed his storytelling instincts. These setbacks revealed a defining trait. He could absorb criticism without surrendering identity. Reinvention became not a reaction, but a strategy for survival. Renewal through television and personal vision. Decades into his career, Costner experienced unexpected renewal through Yellowstone. As John Dutton, he portrayed a complex patriarch, balancing loyalty, power, and vulnerability. The series became a cultural phenomenon, introducing him to a new generation. At an age when many actors fade quietly, he reclaimed prominence. Rather than coast on revived fame, he pursued another ambitious project, Horizon, an American saga, a sweeping Western largely self-financed. The decision echoed his earlier risk with Dances with Wolves. He remained willing to stake resources and reputation on personal conviction. This phase of life reflected maturity rather than ego. Success was no longer about validation but fulfillment. Television provided visibility, but filmmaking remained his passion. By embracing both mediums, Costner demonstrated adaptability, an essential trait in an evolving industry. Love, family, and the cost of ambition. Costner's personal life mirrored the tensions of his career. His first marriage to Cindy Silva endured 16 years and produced 3 children, surviving his early struggles, but straining under fame's demands. Their divorce in 1994 marked a painful transition. Later relationships brought additional children and renewed hope for balance. His marriage to Christine Baumgartner lasted nearly 2 decades, before ending in 2023, again under public scrutiny. Fatherhood, however, remained central. With 7 children, Costner has emphasized responsibility and presence, even amid demanding schedules. Divorce and distance taught him difficult lessons about ambition's cost. Success can provide comfort, but cannot substitute for time shared. As he matured, he expressed deeper awareness of balance, striving to protect family bonds. His private challenges humanized him, revealing vulnerability behind celebrity. Love, like career, required endurance and sometimes acceptance when efforts were not enough to preserve permanence. Aging, reflection, and enduring legacy. Now in his 70s, Kevin Costner reflects a life defined not by uninterrupted triumph, but by resilience. He divides his time between Colorado and California, finding peace in landscapes reminiscent of the stories he loves to tell. Physical aging brings limitation, yet creative drive persists. Loss, the passing of parents, friends, and collaborators, has deepened his perspective on time. Awards and box office milestones matter less than presence, with a family and authenticity in work. His legacy rests not solely on iconic roles, but on persistence through doubt and reinvention. He rose, fell, and rose again, each time shaped by experience rather than diminished by it. In an industry quick to discard yesterday's heroes, Costner endures because he adapts without abandoning principle. His life affirms a simple truth: courage is not loud, it is steady. And sometimes the bravest achievement is simply continuing forward, wiser and unbroken when the spotlight shifts elsewhere.